welcome to the Good For You studio, TaijiFit with Jan. Today we have another longer version of the TaijiFit routine. So as usual, you don't have to do anything that I do, you don't have to remember anything that I say, you don't have to learn anything, there's no competition, it's just breathe, do what you see, and enjoy. I'm going to start here on my grid so you can see my feet and what they do. And I'm just going to let my hands relax. And then I'm going to start doing a little octopus, just letting things move around. My hands get a little more excited. They float up and sort of sway in the breeze, just like an octopus would in the ocean. And then settling back down. Awesome. When your hands settle down to your sides, let them float up like big bird wings, lifting you into the sky, and then exhaling and letting them sweep down. Inhaling, floating up. Nice deep breath when you exhale. The magic happens there. Beautiful. This time as you fly up into the sky, open your heart, feel everything that's going on inside your body and even in the room around you. Exhaling, and one more time, breathing in, floating up, and focus your mind on the here and the now. Focus on my voice or your breathing, sound of the music. Just focus on you. Exhale, let go. Beautiful. And this time, palms are forward, float those arms up, but then gather them in as you lift. And then sink down. We call this sinking the chi. Inhale, lift and gather. Exhale and sink. Beautiful. One more time. Inhale, lift and gather. And sink the chi. And then when your hands reach the bottom of that arc, put all your weight in one foot. It doesn't matter which foot it is. Lift the other one up and gently step out. Put half your weight in that foot you stepped out on. Make sure your weight is even. And then let your hands float up in front like a puff of air lifted them. And then let them sink. Bending your knees a little farther as you sink down. And like a bobber on the end of a fishing line, just float back up. And exhale, sink down. One more time, we will open the door. The name of this movement. And then when your hands get to the bottom of this arc, let them sweep out to the sides. Choosing one hand, scoop it under the bottom, and the other hand scoops over the top, catching a moon right in front of your chest. And then exhale, let it go. Inhale, the other side will work it. We call this embracing the moon. Exhale, let it go. And now this time, as you catch that moon up in your hands, sink down a little bit. Beautiful. Exhale, let it go back into orbit. And one more time. Inhaling, sinking, exhaling, coming back. And then let your fingertips float toward each other. And your hands will drift down. And then let them drift back up again and pull into your heart. And as they do, turn to a corner and just press your hands out. Not very far, just a little bit. And then inhale and sweep them back to your heart. And exhale. Press and sway ever so gently. One more time. Now let those fingertips drift across the horizon And this time, take a step in as they pull into your heart and step out as they push. We call this moving mountains. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Beautiful. And let those fingers float back across the horizon, stepping in. Keep going. Step in again with the other foot. Step out, and let's move a mountain here. And then come in, back to the heart, and then as you push out, cross the wrists. Doesn't matter which one's on top. Below, just right above your knee, and then float those hands up. Open them out, and bring them back around to cross again at the bottom. We call this movement Princess in the Valley. Inhaling as you float up, exhaling as you come back down. Knees are bent and soft, breath is bent and is soft, eyes are soft. Now let those hands float up back together into your heart, one moving a mountain, and sweep off to the other side, stepping in. Step in again, pull those hands into your heart, step out, one moving a mountain. And this time as you pull them in, cross them above. Doesn't matter which hand's above or below, cross. And then they drop down and sweep back. As you sit back, let them float up, opposite of the other movement, and come back right down. Beautiful. This one's called Princess on the Mountaintop. Inhaling as you float up, exhaling as you glide down. And one more time. Inhaling and exhaling. Beautiful. Now come back into the heart, one push. And then stay with me. We're going to do something else. Come back into the heart. And then the fingertips are going to form an arrow. And squeezing into the clouds, separate the clouds. Kind of like swimming. Under your arms, form that point again. And actually this movement's called piercing the clouds. Like swimming through clouds. Inhaling and exhaling. Let's do one more. Coming back into the heart. And after one moving a mountain, let's just float back to the center, stepping in. Make a big hug right here. And then your palms go flat to the earth, melting down. And we'll go back to the beginning, sinking the chi. Inhale, lift and gather. Exhale, melt it down. Two more, just like that. And this time as your hands reach the bottom, just let them hang there. And we're going to do tick-tock. It just shifts your weight mostly to one side and then mostly to the other side. What you're going to do here is feel things. Feeling your weight shift. Where does that weight press? What part of your foot? Don't forget to breathe, it's required. Inhaling and exhaling. Feeling that weight shift. And this time as your weight shifts over, the other foot is so light you can lift it up and tap the heel. Bringing it back, slide on over, lift and tap the other heel. Awesome. Floating over, lift and tap. And back to the other side. Inhaling and exhaling. Beautiful. Let's add a hand in. So this hand will go right over that foot as you tap. Bringing it back around, the other hand sweeps in and floats up right over that foot. Bringing it back around, inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. Let's do that one more time on each side. Fabulous. And now let's do both hands. So one hand floats up and the other comes right to the elbow. It doesn't touch the elbow, it just comes right to it. Let's do the other side. Floating up. And this movement's called playing the peepaw, which is a musical instrument developed in China. It's got strings on it and they play it sitting up on their lap. Exhaling, tapping. Inhaling, sweeping around. Exhale, tap. Now we're going to do that peepaw once more on this side. And then we're going to change a little bit. So we're going to start with a peepaw. And then just let those hands sweep around. One on the top, one on the bottom, just like embracing the moon. But let that top hand just drift away for a moment. Pressing down the toe. Wind up a tiny bit and then toss away with that arm. It's not a big movement, it's very gentle. Inhale as you scoop back in. Exhale and toss. Inhale and exhale. And now the other arm comes back, making the moon, and that arm just sinks down right to your pocket. And the other arm tosses out. This movement is called parting the horse's wild mane. And it's actually sort of like bringing chaos to order, right? You're combing out the snarls and tangles of the mane till it's smooth and shiny. Then make a big hug right here in the center. Stepping back, make that moon again over here. Tapping in, stepping out, top hand drifts away, and we'll do the other side. Toss, just one hand. Sweeping it in, and tossing it out. Awesome. Getting ready to part the horse's wild mane. And here we go. Hands come around, make a circle, embrace the moon. Top hand sinks down, bottom hand tosses away, combing through the snarls and tangles of the horse's wild mane, making it smooth and silky and bringing chaos to order, or order to chaos. Let's do one more. Inhaling and exhaling. Beautiful. Stepping back, another big hug right here. Hands go palm to the earth, melt them down, and back to the beginning, sinking the chi 3 times. Beautiful. Inhale, lift and gather. Exhale, melt. Last one. Fabulous. And this time we'll float the arms up in front like that puff of warm air lifted them up to the shoulders, and then stretch them out. Let your heart feel what's in the room. And gather that all back in, just about shoulder width apart. Tip those hands, one to the top, one to the bottom. The bottom hand is going to sweep away, and when the fingers point to the corner, the elbow bends, and the hand sweeps right toward your cheek. The top hand now bends, flips palm up, and each hand presses one forward, one back. Other hand sweeps back to the corner. Elbow bends as the fingers point in that direction, sweeping that hand right past your cheek. Forward palm flips and press. This is called repulsing the monkeys or fending off the monkeys. Inhaling there, exhaling as you push that monkey away. Awesome. Inhale, catch that wind and push that monkey away, repulsing it. I like to think of this as an analogy from the monkey mind sitting on your hand and or maybe it's a metaphor. Let it go one more time, sweeping out, elbow bending right past your cheek. And now this forward hand is just going to let that other hand sweep right to the side. Lift the opposite heel and just sink a little bit. Don't have to go far. Millimeter, mile, same thing. And there you go. Now this forward hand is going to melt down with us. Exhale, melt. Inhale, float it back up. And as we finish this hand, this other hand that's stretched out, the elbow will bend and the forward hand stays still. It's just the elbow that bends. Beautiful. And when this one is finished, we're going to do all three at the same time. Bounce down, press, and wave that arm in. 1, 2, and now get ready. Putting all the weight in one foot, step out, lifting that toe. Heel comes down first, shifting your weight. Forward hand just goes right around your knee, and the top hand just follows it around with a little push. And then just twisting that waist back to forward. Exhale as you brush knee, push, which is the name of this movement. It's also called brush knee with a twisted step. And now this forward hand comes down and around. The back hand comes up and over as you step back in. And then the arms just windshield wiper across the top. Other heel lifts up. And now we'll sink again 3 times. After this one, the forward hand will come down with us. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, and then we'll bend the elbow of the other arm. And here we go. Beautiful. Third one. And now everything together. Hope you're not chewing gum. Inhale as you float up. Exhale as you sink. One more. And then put all the weight in one foot. Lift that toe. Step out. Heel touches first. Weight goes into the toe and then the waist turns around. Brush knee, push. Rewind that. And exhale. Brush knee, push. One more time. Forward hand sweeps down, back hand floats up. Everything circles around, step back in. Big hug right in the center. Hands melt, palms to the earth. And then floating up, we'll sink the chi 3 times. Inhale, lift and gather. Exhale, sink the chi. One more time. Again, the hands will float up on a puff of warm air and open out. Feel that chest and heart just opening into the room. Let's do that again. Hands come back in and out. Beautiful. One hand, it doesn't matter which one it is, sweeps across the belly and up to the other hand. And then they change positions, one above, one below. A little inhale right here, and then those hands just float across from one corner to the other. We call this movement waving hands like clouds. You can wave if you like, doesn't matter. It's fun. Inhaling in the corner, exhaling, kind of blowing the clouds across. One more time. Beautiful. The top hand, all the fingers just join together, and we call this a hook. The other hand floats up and sweeps out ever so gently. And at the last moment, just hook that hand around before it sinks down. Inhale as you scoop in, and exhale as that hand drifts out, performing what we call a single whip. Scooping back in. Exhaling, sending it back out there. And now the hand releases the other hook and sweeps around. Both hands make some more clouds, and we float those clouds right across. Inhaling as we change the position of the hands, exhaling as we float. And then this top hand will form a hook. The other hand drifts up and then out to do a single whip on the other side. Little hook there at the end, and scooping back in. Inhaling and exhaling. Breathing is required. One more. Fabulous. Releasing the hook, let's make some more clouds over here on this side and float them across. Once. Exhale, blow them across, and then the top hand will make another hook. And the hand will float out again, only one time though, because this time we're going to come back across the top and scoop down, dropping that hand, bending the knees, sliding around. Palm comes forward and up. This is called the snake creeps down, but it doesn't have to be a snake. You can think of it as a squirrel running across the tree, down the trunk, and across the yard. Releasing the hook, let that hand find the other one and make a cloud and blow it across once, changing in the corner, and twice. Top hand again makes a hook, fingers just touch each other, and sweeping out one time, one single whip, and then coming back across the top, sliding it down and sweeping around. Beautiful. Inhaling as you come back across the top, exhaling as you sweep. Let's catch that squirrel running down the tree and across the grass. Beautiful. Release that hook, sweep those hands around once. Inhaling in the corner. Changing one more time, and then stay with me while we come back to the center. And the hands are just here. The bottom hand will scoop in and float up, and the top hand sinks down until they touch. And then they sweep off to the other corner, and that hand on the wrist just slides off. Now we're the opposite way, so scoop that hand under. Lifting it up, the other hand melts into it, goes along for the ride, and then slides off. Scooping in, That wasn't right. Scooping in, sinking down, floating up, and dropping off. Let's do that one more time. Scooping in, floating up, across, and down. And now let's add to that. So scooping in, floating up, dropping down, and we're going to shift our weight as we float up to the corner, and then the opposite foot taps out as the other hand sinks down to the corner. Stepping back, scoop in, float it up and melt down, drifting over to the corner, and that toe taps forward as the other hand sits down. Scoop back in, lift and sink, float up and tap. White crane spreads wings. One more time. Scoop in, float up, tap the toe. Beautiful. Stepping back, big hug right here. Awesome job. If I can only get my words right, I'll be great. Hands melt down and we're back to the beginning, sinking the chi. Inhale, lift and gather, and exhale, sink. 2 more. Last one. Beautiful. Hands float up in front, sweep out, and then make the moon. Whatever hand ends up on the bottom, step out with that foot. And then the top hand sinks down, the bottom arm, the whole arm lifts up, and both sweep out in opposite directions. Back to the beginning, make the moon, changing the arms up and down and up, and then sweeping out. This movement's called warding off. One more time. Scooping in, sinking and lifting, and opening and expanding. Fabulous. This backhand sweeps out like a minute hand on a clock all the way around. The other arm sweeps out. The toe pivots forward. Shift your weight back to that foot and then make the moon on the other side. Step out. Sink and lift these arms and separate out, warding off. Come back and make the moon. Sinking and lifting, opening, expanding. Fabulous. Back again, making the moon. Sink and lift, open, expand. And then this bottom hand sweeps around again in a big circle, and the other hand stretches out. That foot pivots forward. Step back in and make the moon. Fabulous. Step out, and we'll do one of those. Sink and lift and expand. And then this back hand slides up, catches this other hand, and they both slide down. Let's do that again. Sweeping the both hands together, slide them back down the slide. Inhale as you sweep around. Exhale as you slide. That was the third one. So we'll take this around, and the top hand keeps going out and around and up and over. Arms stretch out, toe pivots around forward. Press your weight into that foot. Big hug for the moon. Step out and then sink and lift and expand one time. And then the back hand slides up to slide, and they both slide down. Inhale as you loop around. Exhale as you slide back down the slide. Awesome. One more time. Inhaling and exhaling. And as we come up to the top, that hand keeps going out, up, over and around. Pivot forward again. Step on that foot. Make the moon with this inward toe, and then out it goes. Sink and lift. Open, expand. One sliding up the slide, and one sliding down the slide, adding on. Lift to the corner. And the hands come forward across. You cross each other and squeeze together as you press over the knee. Let's do that again. Slide down the slide, lift to the corner, crossing the wrists and squeeze them together and press. One more time. Sliding back down the slide, lifting to the corner, turn, squeeze, and press. The inside hand comes in toward your body and then out and around, up and over the top. Both hands stretch out, foot pivots, stepping back in and stepping back out, making the moon. Sink and lift, open, expand, one sliding up, one sliding down, adding on this side, floating to the corner, crossing the wrists, turn, squeeze, and then slide down again, lifting to the corner, crossing the wrists, squeeze them together and press over the knee, and one more time. Inhaling and exhaling. Inside hand comes down and around, out and over the top. Arms just rotate around. Come back to make the moon, stepping in and stepping out. Sink and lift. Open, expand. Sliding up. Slide back down. Lift to the corner. Turn, squeezing those wrists together. Press, and then adding the final movement. Palms separate, facing the earth. And sit back, inhale, and just like we did before, move some mountains. Exhale, push. Inhale, and exhale, push. And last one. And now just sit back, pivoting that toe, let the hands just go right in the front, and then step in and make the moon for the other side. Step out, sink and lift, open, expand, one slide up, one slide down, lift to the corner, wrists cross, turn, squeeze, palms to the earth, separate out, and sitting back, exhale, push. Inhale, and exhale, and one last time. Fabulous. This time we're going to pivot around, no circling arms, but now we'll make the moon and we'll do this whole movement, which is called grasping the sparrow by his tail. Sink and lift, opening the curtain to see the sparrow by the window, sliding that hand up, grasping him by the tail gently, bring him back in, lifting to the corner, catch him. Turn back to the corner and press him to the window, open the window, sitting back, set him free. And again, sitting back, pivoting around, making the moon, stepping out one time, sink and lift, opening the curtain to see the sparrow, catch him just by his tail, gently, lifting to the corner. There he is, there's his wings, press him to the window, opening the window, set him free. Fabulous. Sit back, arms come around, big hug right here, hands toward the earth, melt down, and then back to the beginning, sinking the chi. Inhale, lift and gather. Exhale, melt. Inhale, lifting and gathering. Exhale, melt. One more time. Beautiful. And now let your hands float all the way up above your head. All the way up. Right up there, straight up. Palms are going to touch and bring them down straight along your center line. Let your thumbs touch your heart. And on your next inhale, float them back up. And the palms press down, all the way down. Crossing the wrists, let's do that again. Inhale, float those hands all the way up. And bring them down, palms together, prayer position. This is called Anjali Mudra. It's a yoga position. Inhale up. And out and down. Awesome. One more time, crossing the wrists, floating up, straight overhead, and straight down the center line. On your next inhale, floating back up, and sink it all back down. Now rotate the palms so they're facing out, and lift again, all the way up, and then the fingers just sort of drip down, and let them come down your center line, but not touching, all the way to your center, and then float them up to your heart, and then sweep them ever so gently out and around. You can bend your knees if you like. Gather all that in, right to your heart, and then let it go. Sweeping the hands back up overhead. Let those fingers just drip down, all the way down to your center again. Form a diamond right here. Fingers and thumbs just pressing against each other. Lift that to your heart. Flip it over, palms out, and press forward. You can lean a little forward if you like. Holding that for a breath. Exhale as you let that go. And we'll do that again. This movement's called opening the heart. Float those arms up and drip them down right to your center. Float them back up to your heart and then out and around, scooping everything in. Gathering up that chi energy, bring it to your heart again, and then let it go, because that's what we do. Again, lift and gather, focusing the energy right down your center line. Exhale as they drop down. Make your diamond right here, bring it up, feel it in your heart, and then pressing out. Exhale, let it go. One last time, opening your heart, floating up, coming back down the center line, right to the center. Let that float up to your heart, and the hands just sweep out and grab everything up, pulling it into your heart. And let it all just wash away. One more time, floating up, straight overhead. Bring those fingertips straight down your center line. And then form the diamond, lifting it up to your heart and press it forward. Beautiful. Feel that in your body. And now let it go. fabulous. Back to the beginning, sinking the chi. Inhale, lift and gather. Exhale, melt. One last time. Beautiful. Stepping back in. Give yourself a little bow for coming to class today. That was wonderful. I'm so proud of you. If you enjoyed this class, please subscribe and you'll be notified if you push the bell when another video comes up. Again, I'm really glad you could join me today doing some Tai Chi Fit with Jan. Till I see you next time, go with the flow. Bye.